battles Loyola. The game is live at 5:30 in Masson. Where's your Masson? Go to MassonSports.com. I'm Kevin Sheehan in the DC Sports Center at 427.
All right, thank you, Kevin. And we're talking about greatest Redskins-Dallas game. You know, the one that's at the top, I think, for me anyway, and everybody will probably have a different game. I'm sure it's the same for a lot of people. I was in the championship game back in 1983 down at RFK. That game actually, of all the games I've ever played in, and this includes the Super Bowl, it really is true, that was the most satisfying football game that I've ever been associated with and been a part of. And it started with the way the day unfolded. And it was like a Hollywood type of day, really. I mean, you didn't have to get people to act. There was so much adrenaline, and as they like to say, the hackneyed old phrase, electricity, and just so much, I think, optimism and confidence that was going throughout RFK.
It was bloodthirst.
It was one thought, exactly. It was one thought, everybody united, 50-some thousand people plus 40-some guys on a team against it. And I got to believe, I wish we could have gotten somebody, maybe we can get somebody tomorrow from that team for Dallas, you know, for them to come out. Although they'll probably say, it's just another football game. But I got to feel like if I was playing a championship game on the road in a stadium like that, it would have been a little bit intimidating, because I know the Oakland Raiders can be intimidating out there. They used to be able to, that their fans are, and I have to believe it was the same way. But I mean, and that's, for me, and what I got out of football, that's the ultimate, that is what I want to say, the juice of football. I mean, sure, you get paid, you know, the money is good, and I guess the glory, but the glory is directly tied to the people in the stands. And to have that much passion on display in one stadium in one afternoon,
an unbelievable day.
I tell you, it was that old hair on the back of your neck standing straight out the entire day. And when I'm telling you, I can almost get there now. I mean, you know, talk about being introduced, or you know, out there making a play and having those people come to their feet and cheering and all that stuff. I'm telling you, it's right up there at the top.
I've told you.
I mean, that's pure drugs.
I've told you this before, but the thing that I'll never forget about that day in January of '83 is that the stadium was completely full. It's 45 minutes before kickoff, and the "We Want Dallas" chant started when the Cowboys first came out onto the field to just warm up. And then you have that classic NFL film shot of Landry and Danny White and Tony Dorsett, and they're walking up through out of their locker room up the steps onto the field with the "We Want Dallas" chant. And I think that I've heard Tony Dorsett, or maybe it was Drew Pearson, say this before, that they knew they were in trouble when they walked out onto the field, and 45 minutes before kickoff, the place was packed to capacity. And as you said, there was a certain feel in that stadium that I think most people who were there have never had since.
And, that's the whole deal, unfortunately, is what I think, not that the game's obviously down in Dallas this weekend, but that game will come back here, last game of the year. And maybe, who knows, maybe we'll get that similar feeling. One wouldn't think that that's going to happen in that building. Yeah, but I'm just saying maybe you would get to a situation where this is a huge game. Right now, we really don't have that going on. It could have been that way.
Right now, we don't want Dallas.
No,
there's no wanting of Dallas going on right now.
We don't want Dallas. But I mean, to me, that's the whole thing that's missing about the games that have been played of late between Dallas and the Redskins, because neither team has been particularly good. And finally, Dallas has come up, and they are the premier team in the NFC. They haven't been there for years, and the Redskins haven't been there for years. And a rivalry is a rivalry, but they become memorable when one team is good and the other team knocks the good team off, or when both teams are good, and then you have these epic battles that go on. I don't know. And after that, it's like it all turns into, of course, the game down there in '79.
You always talk about it.